Time now for sports with Casey Conlon.
You are looking live. That was the trademark phrase Brent Musburger so often uttered to begin another major sporting event, one he said for the final time this past January. The announcer called it a career after a run as one of the profession's icons. Though not everybody appreciated him, the story of any public figure, he always made sure listeners knew about his Montana roots. Scott Breen joins us with story number 8.
The entire state of Montana thought it was a strike.
Exactly. Sure. That's slightly over 1 million people, huh, Brent?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That was Musburger back in 2011, broadcasting those minor miracle Billings baseball players in the Little League World Series. It's a game Baseball Tonight's Carl Ravitch was supposed to call, but Musburger specifically asked ESPN for it once Billings reached the undefeated semifinal.
You know, I normally come in on the weekend, but in this particular instance, I said, I'm coming in early. I want to do a game.
I was actually supposed to do the game Wednesday, and he said, look, it's Montana, I'd love to do it. And I have an 11-year-old boy who's in Little League now, whose team made it to a state championship, and I immediately was able to put myself in his shoes.
Musburger was always quick to grant an interview when back here at home, whether golfing at the Yellowstone Country Club or at Riverside in Bozeman, where he was glad to be the special guest for friend Leslie Spalding, the former LPGA Tour player from Billings, who was then head golf coach at Montana State. It was there years ago when I asked him about controversial basketball coach and broadcasting partner Bobby Knight.
That's a great question. I've known Knight for a long, long time. I had some battles with him early on, and now I consider him a very dear friend. I really like him. He could be, if he commits himself to it, the best basketball analyst out there, because people, wherever they stand on the Knight meter, they listen to him. They like to hear what he has to say.
Musburger was also extremely blunt with us in that 2010 interview when asked about the Cats and Grizz toying with a move to the upper echelon of Division I.
Horrendous mistake. Montana cannot support a Division I team. If they want to go up against the Washington Huskies and the Stanford Cardinal and the USC Trojans and BYU and Utah, for those athletes, good luck to them. But they'd be committing economic suicide.
Remembering Musburger's roots just 2 years ago, ESPN offered him the call for college football season opener between Montana and North Dakota State. He agreed to it under 2 conditions, wanting his weekly production crew to do the game to assure no drop-off in quality. And 2, he simply needed game tickets for family and friends. That's how the deal went down. Here's what he told us the day before kickoff in Missoula.
Well, it doesn't feel like a job. You know, it really doesn't. I mean, I know, the light goes on and you got to perform and identify players and promos, all the things that go into the announcing, but I wouldn't miss it. I love every minute of it.
5 years after that magical Little League run, the Montana Hall of Fame broadcaster was back in Missoula last summer as guest speaker for the American Legion's State AA tournament, and it was clearly on his mind to single out those Billings All-Stars.
I'm wondering, are any of those youngsters still with us, the Legion team? Wow. Look at this, huh? All right.
Just a few days later, last August, he was back here in Billings for this dedication of Musburger Field. Still, Musburger seemed to know at that time back in Williamsport the magnitude that had come full circle for his hometown Little Leaguers, his current role in it, and where it might rank on his decorated career resume.
Very excited because this one's personal. I'm around a lot of big league guys, college football games and basketball games and everything, so I've been around every event imaginable. But seeing these little kids come here from Montana, when they were supposed to make it here, and then not only they make it, they're still undefeated and playing for the United States Championship. I mean, it's a very, very memorable occasion.
Deep, Billings is going to the championship. Ben Askelson hits their first home run of the Little League World Series. And it sends the unbeaten Montanans to Saturday afternoon. How about these youngsters from Big Sky Country?